right. Oh, man, that's enough of that royalty-free nonsense. Yeah, this time we won't get muted by copyright stuff. Hey, I'm learning something new every day doing this Twitch streaming. Hi, how are you doing? My name is Doug Lackey, columnist and podcast host alongside Adam Martin for Wrestleview Live after every WWE pay-per-view, and this is Wrestleview Weekly, episode, I think we're at episode 8 or 9, but all that really matters is that we got the date right. It's March 28th. Lots of stuff going on today. Holy hell, just within the past 48 hours, the news has been flowing like wine down. I don't know. It's just been flowing like wine is all I know. I will start off the show first by saying, because of all of this, we are not drinking the customary beer. Instead, we are going with Bailey's and coffee. Go Tribe. Yes, because there's so much going on news-wise, apart from all the stuff that's going on with Raw and Smackdown. A lot of stuff revealed on Smackdown on last night's show that kind of confused some people with what's been going on news-wise involving a very particular member on that show. So much news, all which in turn goes through injuries. We're going to update you on all the injuries that have been going on the WWE main roster. And tonight I thought that I would share a nice little personal story about one of my very first encounters with a professional wrestler who just underwent, I believe, heart surgery this past week. And he's a guy who I exchanged email correspondence with, for the first year and a half that I was in college. Just a super, super nice guy. I'm talking about Vader. And a nice little story to share with y'all when I started college and bumped into Vader at a Cracker Barrel and alongside a lot of other people. But it's Vader in particular that I'll be talking about. And also, the dream match of the week. We call it dream match of the week because that's what's been all the talk about, this damn match between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura with WrestleMania. They keep calling it a dream match, but they can't really say why it's called a dream match other than Japan. Just because Japan. They can't show any footage of it. Well, I'm going to be showing footage of it because I am going to be watching their match from Wrestle Kingdom 10 for the IWGP Intercontinental title. Never seen it. Very curious. But what's more is, aside from the match itself, on Dark Overlord Dave Meltzer's list of 5-star matches, it only got 4 3/4. So I'm really curious on why this match did not get 5 stars in comparison to every match that we have been watching on this program that has been 5 stars or higher. What is it that caused this match not to be 5 stars? Also, things to know about the show when it comes to blind watching these matches. If you have suggestions for any matches that I should watch that you think are really important to professional wrestling, to you, send me a DM at Doug Wrestleview. DM me with a link to the match, what the match is, and why you think it's important, and why it is important, and why I should watch it, and why I'm not a professional wrestling fan because I haven't watched it. Also, the bar that you see above me is a goal. We're at 38 followers. Thank you so much for following this program, starting in its infancy. And the goal is to get to 100 followers. Once we get to 100 followers, I will sit down and, I think we will all sit down and watch Wrestle Kingdom 12. Because I have yet to watch it. There is a 5-star match on this. I believe it was Omega and Jericho. I bet you that's what Dark Overlord Meltzer put in. Yep, there it is. Yep, Wrestle Kingdom 12. It's a 5-star match. And I'm sure there are a lot of other phenomenal, close to 5-star matches that are on it that I should be weary of, cautious of, I guess. But again, 100 followers, I check out Wrestle Kingdom 12, and we check it out together. And you teach me and learn me a little bit about professional wrestling that I don't know because I'm lazy not to look it up myself. Okay, so let's get on with the show. First off, as always, let's start off with Raw and SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown. Once again, kind of a lackluster show when it comes to Raw. The only things we got some, we finally got some matches that came to a head, I guess, that are confirmed for WrestleMania this go around. Let's see. First off, Brock and Heyman out in the ring. Blah 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 blah. Roman has a very. This is something I really don't understand when it comes to Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns when it comes to their dynamic together in doing promos and interviews and bouncing off one another and calling each other out. Heyman is incredibly turned on by Roman Reigns' Samoan heritage. He brings it up an awful lot, but he's the only one who seems to bring it up. No one else brings this up. No one else, whenever they talk about Roman in any kind of match, any kind of Intercontinental title match that he's had, anything against Strowman for the past year, they never bring this up, and it's always Heyman that brings it up, and I don't understand what the fascination is with that. But and the other thing too, he kind of says it in jest, but I just don't get why that's important in this. I mean, yeah, I get it. The Rock raised his hand when he won the Royal Rumble last time around to try to confirm to us that he's really a decent performer, but that's the last time. I don't get it. I really don't get why Heyman is so turned on by Samoans and talking about him. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But yeah, Roman limps out from the crowd. Brock beats him down, gives him an F5 on the stairs, stands on the stairs over him. There you go. Nia Jax versus Mickie James, a nice little thing to cleanse your palate before Nia and Alexa go at it at WrestleMania. And I've got my thoughts on the WrestleMania card that we'll get into later on with the news. Because right now, 12 matches are confirmed for WrestleMania, and it looks like that's going to be the card. Doesn't look like there's anything else. You could pretty much gather, it's pretty much confirmed by now. Nia Jax beats Mickie James in that match. Alexa tries to jump in and attack Nia, but nothing doing. This is a match, though, I'm really looking forward to, is this Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. That's going to be a very, very interesting match to watch. Let's see. Coming up, Cruiserweight division, we had a little tag match with Cedric, Alexander, and Mustafa Ali teaming up against Drew Gulak and TJP. The good guys win because they are trying to build for their championship match at WrestleMania that's going to be on the pre-show card. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor on Miz TV. This was a fantastic segment. Essentially, let's just go and say the Miz first starts going off and that he's sick of being left down while the Miztourage is, leaving him high and dry. And of course, the Miz saying his stuff about he's anti-Cleveland, but he's from Cleveland and he loves being from Cleveland and he loves talking about how he is from Cleveland. He's a humongous Browns fan. But he starts talking bad about the Miztourage, starts saying, why aren't you there for me? And Bo Dallas kind of speaks up a little bit. Then out comes Seth Rollins to poke and prod, and out comes Finn Balor to poke and prod, and then Curtis Axel gets a little mad. And it looks like everyone is about to converge and beat the hell out of the Miz. But nope, the Miztourage jumps Balor and Rollins, showing that everything is A-OK. It was planned from the get-go to goad them out and beat the crap out of each other. Very, very well done segment. Very well done segment. Asuka beats up a jobber out of Cleveland. Woken Matt Hardy says that Bray Wyatt is no more, and he's going to join the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Bayley and Sasha Banks are backstage, and they're kind of little passive-aggressive anger at each other, gets active aggressive anger at each other, and they start going after each other. and this will lead to a match at WrestleMania. Braun Strowman is out in the ring. He's going to be facing Sheamus, and he said to the two whiny babies that, hey, if you want to know who my partner is, you got to beat me first. Nope, and that doesn't happen. So we still have no idea who Strowman's partner is going to be at WrestleMania. I've got my guess. I think it's a very convenient guess, though there are happier guesses that we could make that would be a lot more fun and entertaining. But I've got my shoe-in pick for that. We'll go over that at the end of the news. Ronda Rousey comes out for a nice little segment between her, Angle, and Absolution coming out and interrupting, trying to invite her in. Ronda has a lot to learn when it comes to promo work. A lot of work to do when it comes to promo work. But some people are going so far as to saying that she needs a manager. I don't know about that. It's way too early in the game to think that. She's got way too many people around her and performers around her protecting her right now to think that she really needs to do that. I don't see that happening, really. But still, it's very, very... she needs to be a little more comfortable, is all I gotta say. She needs to be a little more comfortable on the mic. Delivery is a little off. Gallows and Anderson versus the Miztourage. Gallows and Anderson pick up that for an average tag match. Elias versus Rhino, and Elias beats Rhino, and then he beats the crap out of Slater afterwards. And then you got Graves, Cole, and Coachman looking incredibly pumped for WrestleMania. Seth versus Finn is announced for next week. And then we have the main event. No DQ match between Cena and Kane. Cena wins. It was a nice little garbage roll that they had there involving tables and rolling around outside the ring. It was nice, fun to watch. Then Cena got on the mic afterwards and said, hey, what you got? Where are you, Taker? Do something. Nothing happens. I don't think we're going to know it. We probably won't know anything until next Monday. Very convenient. Just, another way to get you psyched up for the show. It's going to be happening anyway. So, yeah, there you go. So, a pretty mediocre Raw, but we got some answers to our questions when it comes to the WrestleMania card. On to the Blue Show, SmackDown. This was an incredibly, incredibly interesting show, and I want to first go over, before I do that, I want to go over injuries real quick. Because we had a lot of injuries that happened over the past week and a half that all seem to involve collectively the SmackDown roster. Let's start off here with this kind of weird injury involving AJ Styles. Triple H commented on the injury, but it was an incredibly ambiguous statement on his injury. And this was back last Thursday. It's when Triple H had the statement about AJ's injury. You always have to have a plan B just in case you have a plan C. So we tried to have in mind what would happen. AJ's an incredible performer, and saying we would replace AJ Styles would be very difficult. Not necessarily a replaceable talent, but we would do our best. AJ is working diligently on rehabbing his injuries and getting himself in tip-top shape for WrestleMania. We are trying to help him with that process of getting the best care and best rehab than everyone else possible. Right now, he says he's feeling a lot better. We'll be ready to go. He's working very hard at it. We're hoping for the best. Not saying what it was, how it happened, what it is. Nothing. Just incredibly ambiguous. Kind of a politician's answer that you would only expect from the COO of the company. AJ Styles has, though, been brought back into the ring for WWE live events. This reported the day after. This was last Friday. He is advertised for upcoming SmackDown shows in Trenton, Fairfax, and in the state of Indiana. He is scheduled to take part in 8-man tag matches involving The New Day, Rusev, Aiden English, and Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. So right now, he is performing, but he's in a very, very limited capacity, which, again, we have no idea what this injury is. No clue whatsoever. Okay. Injury number 2 involving Charlotte Flair. This was really, really odd. That happened just yesterday. This was announced yesterday. It was announced that SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair has been forced to pull out of the Mixed Match Challenge show on Facebook Watch yesterday. The article noted that Charlotte is injured but provided no specifics. A fan vote was created for Charlotte's replacement to tag with Bobby Roode to go against Finn Balor and Sasha Banks. I believe it was Becky Lynch that ended up winning the fan vote, and Becky and Bobby won. But this leads up to, again, well, what's going on with Charlotte then? What's going on here? It turns out it was reported today by PWInsider.com that she underwent oral surgery last Wednesday due to infection, according to the PW Insider. Totally buy it. Totally buy it. She sounds like she's a go for WrestleMania, though she was pulled from SmackDown in the mixed match last night. But it sounds like she's a go. No worries there. However, there was a third person who had an injury and has had an injury for a long time that we were never aware of, but now understand completely with how he was taken off television, but nothing changing. And that's Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon, it was reported Monday night around about 8 o'clock, probably about the start of Raw, that WWE reported that Shane had been hospitalized for acute diverticulitis and an umbilical hernia. Apparently, he got this, according to Wrestling Observer and Figure 4 Online, noted that this was legitimate, not a part of the storyline. Everything's A-okay. Happy Cake is following me. Thanks a bunch, Happy Cake. You're number 39. They need to get up to 100 so we can watch Jericho and Omega beat the crap out of each other. Article noted that Shane had been traveling to the Caribbean with his family and developed a, quote, massive infection, where he was hospitalized for several days in Antigua. McMahon was then flown back to New York, where he remains hospitalized undergoing treatment. In fact, there he is. Pictures taken yesterday. Statement from Shane McMahon here saying, thank you everyone for the great get well wishes. It truly helps. I'm healing up and I have the best medicine in the world around me. Oh, those kids so sweet. But right now, that's all the news that's come out with McMahon. But let's get back to reviewing SmackDown. So it was basically rumored, and I hinted at this a long time ago, that we're looking at a tag match of Owens and Sammy versus Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. No brainer, right? So back to that. So here we go. Daniel Bryan, and the big thing about this show was Daniel Bryan coming out and doing a segment. But first, we'll talk about tag match of Bobby Roode and Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal and Rusev. Basically, paint-by-numbers tag match. However, Rusev pinned Randy Orton, the U.S. champ. This leads to Rusev going to the offices of Daniel Bryan, asking to be put into the triple threat match at WrestleMania for the U.S. title, and it does so. So now it is a fatal four-way. Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, Rusev. Sounds like a no-brainer to me. Sounds good. I'm glad to see that Rusev is in an actual match and not the Battle Royal. I like that. That gives him more time. And oh my God, imagine that crowd just chanting Rusev Day. Oh, it'll be phenomenal. Becky Lynch versus Ruby Riott in a snoozer of a match. Daniel Bryan addressing last week's stuff. So he gets up there and he basically announces the tag match. Owens and Zayn versus him and Shane. If Daniel Bryan and Shane win, Owens and Zayn are still fired. If Owens and Zayn win, then they are reinstated to SmackDown. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen. But the biggest piece of news about this is that the match is still on. The match is still on, even though Shane is not good. And so we're looking at him if he is in this match, it's in a very limited capacity. Very, very limited. He may get tagged in only once. He may start the match and then just tag Bryan back in. and then conveniently grab the chair and go for the swerve. That's what I see. But right now, I don't understand how the match can be a go unless it's going to be a very limited run, and man, is it predictable as hell now. So, all right. There it is. Confirmed U.S. title fatal 4-way. Clusterfucks. Gotta love them. It's WrestleMania times. New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers was a lot of fun because it basically broke down. Usos attacking the Bludgeon Brothers after the brothers were just beating the hell out of New Day. They didn't care about the rules. Usos and New Day are pushing and shoving each other, and then, bam, the Bludgeon Brothers grabbed their mallets and were about to whack the shit out of some guys. Didn't happen. That was fun to watch. I love giant white people beating the crap out of smaller people. I can't help that. Sami Zayn accepting the challenge by Daniel Bryan over the Twitter. Tyler Breeze with Fandango versus Dolph Ziggler was a simple paint-by-numbers match to try to get you hyped up for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal with the trophy standing outside of the ring. Triple threat tag team title match. There you go. There's another one confirmed for you. Shinsuke Nakamura with AJ Styles in tow versus Shelton Benjamin with Chad Gable in tow. Snoozer of a match. Shinsuke wins. He gets jumped by Chad Gable. He beats them both off. Tells AJ didn't need his help. That he just wanted AJ there to see what he would be doing to him at the WrestleMania. Walks away. AJ gets jumped by Shelton and Gable. Fends them all off. Shinsuke rears up to hit him. Nope. I kind of like that. That's kind of fun. Especially after the past couple of shows that I've been doing and watching earlier Shinsuke matches. You know, he's starting to grow on me just a little bit, just because I'm seeing some of his past. But there's a difference between watching him in New Japan and then watching him in the WWE, and you kind of have that bias. You know, you're anticipating what he should be doing and everything, but you're kind of mad that he's not doing it, and it's kind of difficult, the production that he's doing. But there's a difference between watching him from New Japan going into WWE and someone like me who's seen him for the first time in the WWE and now investigating what he's done in the past. You know, I think it's a lot better as a wrestling fan to, you're watching the WWE. You're always going to watch it. But I think it's so much better that when you see a new person come up, then you go ahead and investigate what they've done, and you don't let their past be a bias towards what they're accomplishing or performing right now. That's a big problem that a lot of people, I think, have, is when they see someone like a Nakamura or a Kevin Owens or an AJ Styles or anyone like that come from previous federations to the WWE, they already have a preconceived notion of what they're supposed to be doing. No, they're a completely different role, completely different character. But it's interesting to see what they did that got the WWE's attention to have them to be a part of their show. And that's what I'm kind of gathering. And Nakamura has had some fairly entertaining matches in New Japan, I'll say. Hopefully we're going to watch one tonight with him in the Dream Match. Japan. It's a dream match. Japan. That's all we can say about it. Japan. That's it. Nothing else. Japan. So there's the TVs for last night and Monday with the Red Show and the Blue Show. So much news to go over. So much news. So let's go ahead and start it off. I don't know why I'm really starting it with that. Nope, I'm starting it with that, is what I'm doing. So we got Pat McAfee, some former NFL player. He's now a turned comedian, radio host, podcaster. He said on Twitter that he signed with the company. He's doing something with the NXT TakeOver show on the Saturday. He's doing something with the pre-show, I believe. Yeah, that's what he's doing. And he also appeared at an NXT live event in Indianapolis earlier this month, taking part in an angle with Adam Cole after the two started going after each other on Twitter. But the big news from this page is Samoa Joe advertised after WrestleMania, and this was confirmed last Thursday. Wrestling Observer Newsletter reported that Joe was backstage at Raw this past Monday night in Dallas, along with Big Cass. So we're looking at a Samoa Joe return after WrestleMania. There you go. It's kind of along the timetable. We were expecting that to be happening anyway. Rey Mysterio on last Friday, he was in Alabama taking part in some ongoing negotiations with the WWE. He was basically, according to PWInsider.com, he was getting his partially torn left bicep looked at. Because since he's apparently looking at negotiations with the WWE, well, the WWE's kind of concerned about his arm. You got a boo-boo there, Ray? Well, we can't bring you on if you're hurt. So that's what they're doing. Report by Mike Johnson would seem to indicate that negotiations between WWE and Mysterio are getting even more serious since his last appearance at the Royal Rumble. I really did not need reports to know that. I think it was pretty much inherent. But it is worth noting that he is in Alabama getting his arm checked. That's completely different story. We can pretty much gather that he's in negotiations with the WWE. The big thing is that get it out of your head that he is actually going on a full-time schedule. No way in hell. No way in hell. Trying to talk right now as I pour me more coffee. No. He's not going to a full-time schedule. No way in hell. His body can't do it. No way. Lillian Garcia is going to guest ring announce the first ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. That's good on her. I just hope that she knows everyone's names, that she gets that right. Yeah, and of course last week WWE dropped the Fabulous Moolah's name from the Battle Royal. Yeah, I know I'm kind of wrong on that, but hey, it happened. Snickers got that going. Washington Post on Saturday has this interview posted with Bill Goldberg where he talked about his involvement with the WWE last year and why he'd be open to having another match. Do I want to roll the dice again? I don't know. I'll quote one of the most famous movies I was ever in, Santa's Sleigh. It ain't over till I say it's over. I wouldn't take any stock in that. Nah, I don't see that happening. Nah, no way. No way. Unless he makes a surprise appearance at the Royal Rumble, absolutely. That's about it. That's the extent that I would go. He also addressed how it was great to wrestle in front of his 11-year-old son, to show what he could do. And he said he owed it all to Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar to give him that opportunity. And that's good on him. That's cool. That's pretty cool. And speaking of Bork Laser, also on Saturday, Triple H said he was unsure about Brock Lesnar's future with the WWE following WrestleMania 34. News 18 featured this interview. And what is a News 18? Let's find out together, shall we? News 18. Who are you? Where are you from? News 18 English. You know what? I know this is kind of weird that I'm looking at this right now, and I'm kind of doing it live and everything right now, but I wanted to do this because I don't know what a News 18 is. I want to know what News 18 is out of. It's out of India. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. So News 18 had this interview, India, with Triple H, and asked him about Brock Lesnar's status after WrestleMania 34. To be honest, quote, I really don't have anything to share in this conversation, and we'll see where it goes. Brock is Brock. He's an interesting guy to be with, makes it challenging, which is always wonderful, and we're working on it. We'll see where that goes as time goes on. He basically said, I ain't saying jack. Because it's pretty much looking to me like he's pretty much done. That would be my guess. He wants to go back to UFC, so be it. They're doing a really good job at painting him as the bad guy right now, not wanting to be in the WWE. They're doing a very good job at it. So be it. There's nothing wrong with him going back to UFC and then 2-3 years later coming back. There's nothing wrong with that. Another very interesting article that came out Saturday. Doctor Who cleared Daniel Bryan said he shows no definite evidence of prior brain injury. This was from Newsweek. I know what Newsweek is. I read it all the time. They talked with Dr. Robert Cantu. He's a leading expert in concussions and consults NFL, NBA, and the NHL. And he also runs his own concussion treatment center in Massachusetts. He talked in detail about reviewing Daniel Bryan back in February. Last month. I evaluated Bryan for a neurological opinion on return to the WWE on February 26th of 2018. Included in his medical records were multiple evaluations by renowned concussion clinicians. I determined that Bryan is currently asymptomatic, has a normal detailed neurological and cognitive neurophysiological examination, normal EEG, and an MRI that showed no definite evidence of a prior brain injury. It is my medical opinion that there is no absolute contraindication to his return to in-ring action in the WWE. He is one of many doctors that he spoke with. According to Meltzer, word did start to travel around at the Raw taping on Monday night that Bryan may have been cleared. Bryan's been cleared for a long time. Okay? He's been cleared. He was cleared long before last week. I stand by that claim. Okay? Let's see. Triple H told USA Today that this is like a second lease on life for Bryan. Yes, it's so wonderful. Yeah, even though we did it 2 months ago. We just thought that now would be the perfect time to let it out, to have you buy a show. Ha ha ha. We have an updated WrestleMania card that does not include the stuff that happened from SmackDown, but there are names that have been added to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and the Women's Battle Royal. Do you really need to list those? Not really. We'll go over what the full WrestleMania card is in a little bit. Paul Heyman is going to be starring and co-producing a new television series. This apparently came out onto the wire yesterday. According to TheWrap.com. Who is TheWrap.com? Let's find out together. Who is TheWrap.com? The Wrap. Who are you? What are you based out of? Related content. All this shit. Let's scroll all the way down. Wow, there's no bottom. We're only going to stay at the top here. Who are you? Alrighty. I am doing a quick once over of this. Evolution of John Cena. The Crown Cast Outline. Who is The Wrap? Looks like you're very good with being on the tablet. Let's see. Do you say? Here we go. There we go. Masthead newsletter subscription. Contact press releases. College rap, Oscar rap, Emmy rap, con rap. Oh, okay, so they're basically okay. I gotcha. So it's entertainment. Okay. So according to their report, Paul Heyman and Mitchell Stewart, who run the Looking for Larry marketing agency, have partnered with Roy Banks' Banka Studio to produce unscripted content across multiple platforms. The first project will feature Heyman and focus on talk, opinion, comedy, and pop culture. Heyman spoke in detail about why he was initially against being the star of a project like this, joking about the early venture. Against my strenuous objection, quoted Heyman, Roy Banks has decided our first collaborative project will be centered around me. I have come to the educated conclusion Roy has made this decision based on a desire when pitching from the networks that we learn how to deal with rejection. Ashley says The Wrap is an entertainment media news website founded by Sharon Waxman in 2009. Oh, okay. Well, it's founded in 2009, so they've been around for 9 years. So, okay. Yeah, they're trusted. They're well trusted. Okay. This is very ambitious. Very ambitious on Roy Banks' part. Unless Roy thinks that Heyman is an incredibly interesting guy and we need to hear him talk about shit. Sorry. And now, if they're looking at something like a podcast, oh, sure. Oh, a podcast of Heyman's? Oh, dear Lord. Everyone will sign up for that. The thing is, WWE needs to do that before Heyman and third parties do that. That's just my suggestion. John Cena showed this weird-looking towel on Monday Night Raw on top of the ramp before running down and beating up Kane. He was on Ellen DeGeneres' show recently, and Cena displayed this towel that she made for him. Be kind to one another. Yay. Isn't that so sweet? By the way, NXT is returning to the Download Festival. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be really interesting. So yeah, thought I'd just throw that in there. But some of these stories just came down the pipe. Not but 24 hours ago. First off, John Cena possibly starring in the forthcoming Duke Nukem adaptation movie. This is according to CinemaBlend.com. Written by Connor Schwerdfiger. Who is CinemaBlend.com? Let's find out who CinemaBlend.com together, shall we? CinemaBlend. There you are. What the Duke Nukem movie is trying to learn from Deadpool's success. Okay. All right. There's an article from 2 days ago. Looks like a lot of pretty people there. 5 comments. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I guess I'll buy it. I'll buy it as a legitimate site. This is what I kind of do when it comes to news. I always question the source. I always want to know who the source is. And you all should do the same whenever you see stuff on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. You know. No, it's more like a couple days old, Grash. Stop it. Basically, Cena was rumored earlier in the year to be involved with the movie, and now one of the producers, Andrew Form, confirmed that Cena is their guy for the leading role for now. He said, quote, yeah, that's what we're working with right now. He is. Yes, we don't have a script yet, so that is confirmed. But you don't even have a script yet? You're just saying that Cena is going to be the guy playing? Shut up. It's enough of that crap. Triple H and Steph were on ESPN, but that's not the last news item. This is down here. The Miz and Maurice welcomed Monroe, Sky, and Mizanin into the world last night at 11:40. There were a lot of concerns that the Miz might not make WrestleMania due to the soon-to-be-born baby girl. Well, she decided to come early. Maybe she just wanted to be around in time to watch WrestleMania. But, yep. So, God, I cannot wait until this child is 2 or 3 years old. Miz is going to be around for another 5 to 6 years. Can you imagine having her on TV? Even as 5 or 6 years old when Miz is in his last years as a performer. Oh boy, this is going to be some fun stuff these next few years. Okay, not just if incorporating a family into wrestling. I know sounds really horrible, but it's not just that. They're having their own TV show coming out. You know, it's going to be really, really interesting stuff. It's going to be entertaining stuff too. And there is nothing. I want to say. I guess the word dirty is not the word I want to use. There's nothing grimy about this, you know? I'm not getting that feeling with this kind of story. I'm not getting that kind of feeling with this. This is going to be very, very interesting stuff. It's going to make for a great reality TV involving all 3 of them, and Lord knows what'll happen when she gets older and Triple H and Steph want them on all of them on their program. Who knows what'll happen. But yes, so that's most of the news. Let's look at this card for WrestleMania. And I'm kind of flying through the show right now because I'm drinking coffee, so there you go. I'm going to go through this card bottom to top just because. WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the Cruiserweight title, Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. Raw Tag titles, The Bar versus Braun and somebody we don't know. SmackDown Tag Team titles, it's a three-way. It's going to be the Usos, New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers. U.S. title is now a fatal four-way. Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, Rusev. Intercontinental title is a triple threat. The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor. Raw title, Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. SmackDown Women's title, Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. We've got Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the tag match with the steps of Owens and Zayn keeping their jobs or not if they win. Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle teaming up against Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. WWE title, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And the Universal title, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Not listed in there is Bayley versus Sasha Banks. Bayley versus Sasha Banks. I'm imagining that's going to be another match that'll put on this card. It'll probably be on the pre-show. There's going to be a lot of matches on the pre-show. Pre-show is going to be, pre-show is going to start at like 5 o'clock. WrestleMania in all is going to be 6 hours long. I don't know if that's how long a Wrestle Kingdom is, but holy hell. You got to be kidding me. Ugh. Thank God I asked for a couple of days off so I can prepare for all that crap. All right. But there are still other items of news that needed their own separate window to go over. Okay? So brace yourselves here. A lot of shit has happened this past week, and I wanted to give everything as much notice and acknowledgement as I could. So let's look at this little event that's going on over in Saudi Arabia, this Greatest Royal Rumble. It's going to be airing live in the UK, and the announcing team has been announced. It's going to be Jerry the King Lawler will be reuniting with JR for this event. Doesn't this really seem like the kind of something that a president of the United States setting up a fundraiser for the nation of Saudi Arabia? This sounds like something he would put together. I mean, doesn't this sound like something like that? Where you are getting a massive loan or a massive investment from a group in Saudi Arabia. How do you repay them? By giving them a massive, massive show with all of these great matches, and you bring out the good old boys, the King and JR. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Oh, yeah, and to throw on top of that, you announced that it's going to be John Cena versus Triple H is going to be one of the matches that you're going to have. And it's their first match they've had in 8 years. And they're also going to be in that stupid little massive Royal Rumble that you're going to be having, too. Isn't that what it feels like, though? Doesn't it feel like the WWE just received a massive deal of some kind? I mean, I get it that they're going to be setting up super cards for 10 years, but I want to know the numbers. I want to know how much they got out of this. And I'm sure that's something we're going to find out very soon in their financials that'll be announced here. I think they'll be announced probably in the next couple of weeks. We'll go over the first quarter. And this will be one of the very first things they'll talk about is their deal with Saudi Arabia. And it's not exactly with Saudi Arabia. It's in conjunction. Let me see. There it is. The General Sports Authority of Saudi Arabia. But it's also involving some kind of social thing. I know that they're doing over there. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, they won't have any women's matches. Yep, that's right. I've talked about that too. But yeah, this is gonna be really interesting to watch. It's gonna be live in the UK. They'll stream it on the WWE network, but it's probably not going to be live. Probably won't be. Lots of announcements when it comes to inductions into the Hall of Fame. Very first one here is a no-brainer. Road Dogg Jesse James going to be inducting Jeff Jarrett in the Hall of Fame. When Road Dogg has been saying, in his own words, destroying SmackDown, well, he's now going to destroy the induction of Jeff Jarrett. So there's that. Paul Heyman's going to be inducting Goldberg. That's not a shock right there. That's not a shock at all. This one, though, I really like, is Molly Holly inducting Ivory into the Hall of Fame. I couldn't think of a better person to induct her. There's no better person because there's no other female from that era. Those two had great matches. And those two come from an age to where it was before the Trish, before the Lita, before the Mickie James, when they were still they were only spokesmodels. These were the two that tried to bring wrestling back, women's wrestling back. Okay, uh, I'm just a big fan of these two, especially Molly Holly. I'm a big fan of hers. But yeah, so there's a lot of inductions going on. But then, speaking of people coming in, WWE just can't quit him, can they? Man. So, apparently, it was reported last Thursday that apparently, according to Mike Johnson, a PW insider, Hulk Hogan has reportedly been in discussions with WWE in recent weeks, according to this report. WWE issued a statement on Thursday admitting that they have had discussions with him in what is believed to be some sort of first dialogue between both parties since he was released in 2015. I get it that there's an Andre the Giant documentary coming in. I totally get that. But you got to have more reason than that to bring him back. You got to have more reason than that. There is no more need for him in the WWE. There's nothing that he can do on a positive scale. Nothing. What can he do? And I'm not saying physically. I'm not wanting him in the ring. I'm not even saying to coach. I'm not even saying to do it. What would he know about coaching anyway? He can't do PR. The name is tarnished. There's nothing for him anymore. There's no positive. There's no nothing. I don't see the point. Again, Mark Henry talked more about Hulk Hogan earlier this week on Monday during a Sirius XM radio show. Talked about he would welcome him back, but he had to personally apologize to every African American talent. Honestly, I just want him on. I just want him gone. I'm really, God, just tired of him. And I don't know why. Who is calling for him? Who's really wanting to see him again? Who's asking for this? Is that the audience that you want who's asking for it? I don't know. I can't be the only one who's wanting to rid myself of the memory of Hogan. I really can't be. Going over that injury list talked about earlier, you can throw Shane McMahon on there. You can Charlotte's not on there anymore. She had oral surgery. She's fine. You could throw AJ Styles on there, but both AJ and Shane are active. There's still a go for WrestleMania. So we have Big Cass, who's slated to come after WrestleMania, Jeff Hardy with shoulder surgery, and the pending DUI in April. Big Show is scheduled to be coming back, though his contract expired at the end of February. R-Truth has had surgery on December 5th. We have no idea what's happening with him. Noah Dar underwent knee surgery. He's not going to be back until May. Samoa Joe was backstage at Raw. He's slated to be coming back after WrestleMania. Maurice had a baby, so she should be back in TV appearances probably next month, next 2 months. Who knows? Paige suffered a stinger. We still do not know what her status is officially. We still don't know if she is, what is going on with her. Okay, we have no clue. Dean Ambrose, torn tricep. Had surgery on December 19th. He's expected to be out for 9 months, so we're not going to see him until way past SummerSlam. Alicia Fox, broken tailbone on January 27th. She will not be back until May or June. And Brian Kendrick had a orbital wall fracture on Christmas, and he's expected to come back real soon. I'm surprised he's not back now. He'll probably return after WrestleMania, after they have the Cruiserweight Tournament finals. And Jason Jordan is off live events with neck surgery. He was on TV 3 weeks ago, but he's not on TV anymore. Who knows when he'll be coming back on TV, because it all depends on what happens with Kurt Angle storyline-wise on Monday Night Raw post-WrestleMania. So there's your injuries. They're still going on, still ongoing. The list has only gotten longer. And it's just kind of nothing will really come to fruition from this list until after WrestleMania. That's all that can really be said. And once we find out more about how extensive the injury is to Shane McMahon and whatever the hell happened to AJ Styles, we have no idea what his injury is. And I guess we'll really find out how bad that injury is at WrestleMania during this dream match. But we're going to watch the very first dream match tonight. So there you go. There's all your news. There's all your injuries. I've got to take a sip of this because I'm going to do some storytelling. What was also in the news this week involving Big Van Vader. He underwent successful open heart surgery. God, he was interviewed hours before the surgery. His son Jesse took to Twitter. I wanted to let everybody know that I just spoke to the surgeon. The surgery was a success, but it was worse than we had expected. Long road for recovery. We'll keep you posted. Thank you for the prayers. Vader had an interview with OneWrestling.com's Bill Apter just hours before his surgery. I don't really want to play it, you know. I just don't see how positive that. I don't know. That doesn't sound very positive to me, you know. But apart from that, what does sound positive is me. I've got a fascinating story about Vader. I started college in '97. Graduated high school in '97. Started college immediately after that in the fall of '97. Around about about that same semester. This was rife in the middle of the Monday Night Wars. And in my dorm, I was in a high-rise dorm, and I had friends on one floor of the high-rise, and then there were mine on my floor, third floor, and fourth floor. One floor was the WWF floor, one floor was the WCW floor. And we would watch the respective shows and fill each other in on what was happening. And kind of, it was a big wrestling stupidity was what it was. And we were all big wrestling dorks. Big wrestling dorks. And I was chugging the Mountain Dew. I was munching on some Cheetos at those times, okay? Before, I did not get on any message boards or forums or anything like that, but man, I was a good dew chugger and Cheeto muncher myself at those times. But there was a time, trying to remember if it was 97 or 98. I know it was around, I think, springtime? It was mild temperatures. I can't remember if it was the fall of 97 or the spring of 98. But the WWE was touring in Charlotte. They did a Friday show. Yeah, it was a Friday show. I think it was a house show. Yeah, no, they were taping. No, there was SmackDown wasn't on then. It was a house show. I'm sorry. WWE came to Charlotte for a house show. It was me, a couple of my friends from the WWF floor, and one of my friends had took his aunt to the show who was physically disabled, and so we got front row wheelchair seats over at the old Charlotte Coliseum where the Hornets play. And I've been to the venue's not there anymore. But went to the show. I could not tell you what the main event was. But I could only tell you that the program that was going on at the time, I think Vader he wasn't exactly the monster heel that he was then. He was kind of just a big guy plodding around, beating up people, but he wasn't going for a title at that time, but he was still a heel. But this was during when Kane was introduced, when Edge debuted. Yeah, this was during the week that Edge debuted. This was also during the Misfits. This was during Kurgan and Golga, and Luna Vachon was still around. Yeah, it was just that weird time in the WWF when they were competing with the WCW. But we went to the show. It was a fun time. Nice little fun show. The following Saturday, just a normal Saturday, got all our stupid homework done and everything. And Mike, friend with the disabled aunt, said, "Let's go get some lunch." And we thought, yeah, okay, sure. So we went over to Cracker Barrel. Now, college campus in relation to the Charlotte Coliseum is maybe about 15 miles away. 98, yeah, it's about 98. Yeah, that's right, 98. It's a fair drive from my campus at UNC Charlotte to Charlotte Coliseum. About a good 15 minute drive away. But Cracker Barrel is kind of in between the two. And we also thought, Cracker Barrel would get some lunch. It's 1:30. It won't be as busy. And I was craving some sausage gravy and biscuits. I love sausage gravy and biscuits. I love their stuff. But yeah, we just thought, just the two of us would just go grab some stuff before we, head off and grab some beers with our fake IDs and whatnot. So we get to the Cracker Barrel. It has to be seated. Hardly a soul in the dining room. Hardly a soul. And Mike says that he'd go over to the table. I said I had to go to the bathroom. So Mike went over to get to the table, and I made my way to the restrooms. Just as I was about to open the door to the restroom flung open. And I ran into my head ran into some guy's chest. I'm standing 6'3". Okay, I'm about 6'3". Bumped into this guy's chest, and I was like, "Oh God, shit! I'm so sorry, dude." And he goes, "No, pardon me." I'm like, God, who the hell was that? So I go take a leak. I come back out, and I go to the dining room, and I see there's Mikey sitting over at one of the tables near the window, and over to the side, over along the wall, we see 2 or 3 tables filled. It was about two tables filled. And I sit down, and there's some other people there, older couples or whatnot. Older people were there, and we placed our orders. We got our drinks, and Mike he goes like, dude, see the guy behind you? I'm telling you, that's motherfucking Vader. And I go, what? And I turn around, and there's this big, massive mountain of a man who has to have a stack of pancakes or something. He has a stack of biscuits that are about as tall as this. It's got to be at least 1.5 feet tall. Plate of biscuits. Okay. All kinds of plates of sausage and bacon all in front of him. And then, he's got and then I see over just a little further away, I see another table, but there are 3 guys sitting in it. And I can't make out, but they're large gentlemen, except for one that seemed kind of skinny and maybe was an oddball with them. Maybe he was carrying their bags. I don't know. But I was just going around like, God, what the hell did we step into? And I go like, yeah, that's fucking Vader. Yeah, that's Van Vader right there. And Mike was like, dude, I'm going to go talk to him. No, come on, it's their time off. Just leave them be. Just leave them be. And Mike was like, no, it'll be okay. And the Vader's table was the way that I'm sitting right now. It's behind us, maybe 2 tables behind us. Mike has direct sight of Vader. Vader's is behind me. And Mike just he just goes, excuse me, sir. And Vader, he turns around. He's got this look on his face. And Mike goes, is it time? And Vader goes, you're goddamn right it's time. And that just let out a laugh from all of us. And we exchanged hellos. At first, like, how you doing? Mike goes, hi, I'm Mike. This is Doug. We were at your show last night. We had a great time. Just wanted to let you know we had a great time. Please, we just wanted to make sure that was you. That you are you. And Vader was like, oh, for the love of God, come over here. And so Vader invited Mike and myself just over to his table, maybe next to his table, not with him, but next to his table. And we spent we spent the next hour and a half shooting the shit with Vader. But it wasn't about him wrestling. He was talking more with us about what we were doing, like what we were doing in college, what we were studying. Like Mike, he was going into architecture, which UNC Charlotte's a big school for architecture. And me, I mentioned that I was going into journalism, radio, and television, and he scoffed at me. He was like, "Oh, kid, you picked the wrong place to go. But if you sound like you got the voice for it." And I really took that to heart. I wish I had something with me to show you that I got as a birthday present from this whole ordeal. But no, we spent like the past hour and a half shooting the shit with him. And on top of that, the table that was not but one or two away from him was, first off, there were three people at this table that I mentioned. Two gargantuan people and one skinny guy. The person that I accidentally ran into with my head ramming into his chest was Glenn Jacobs. Was Kane. He had the mask off and everything. Again, nice as can be. Just incredibly down-to-earth guy. The other person that was with him, and I wish I could have spent more time to talk with him too, was John Tenta. Earthquake. Golga. Yeah, and God, he, again, just so down to earth. All three of these guys. Just imagine two college kids. We know who these guys are. We know they're wrestlers and everything, but we aren't, hounding for autographs. We're not saying, "Oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. Oh, you could kick this guy's ass." Blah, 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 blah. We didn't talk about them at all. They were more talking with us about what we were doing as young adults, like what our plans were for the future, and also kind of, why do you like wrestling? Why do you like it so much? Who brought you into watching wrestling? They were asking us this. It wasn't us asking them. That's what really floored me. Oh, by the way, the skinny guy sitting at the table, yeah, that was Adam Copeland. That was Edge. Had the traditional fanny pack to the side, too. He was silent the whole time. He was very, very quiet. I don't know if it was because he was new to the organization or what. But again, he was fairly new to us. But damn it, Mike and I, we knew Earthquake and Vader and starting to know who Kane is. But it was just so cool to sit there and just shoot the shit with these larger-than-life people. Seeing them devour, God, so much food that I could never eat in an entire 2 days. They ended up, Vader ended up eating my leftovers because I was too busy talking. But Vader ended up picking up the tab, which was, we didn't expect that. We were not expecting it at all. But yeah, we spent a good hour and a half just talking about life. Vader talking about when he was in college and the classes that he took. It came. Jacobs talking about when he was in college. And that's all it was. It was just so, so cool. And that encounter with these performers has shaped how I watch wrestling from here on out. Sure, you can meet performers in real life. Sure, you can meet them walking out from the arena and you're holding up your signs. Sure, you can try to catch them at the hotel bars or somewhere else after the shows. But there's a difference between you trying to find them. I don't want to call stalking, but there's a difference between that and a chance encounter. And there's a difference between how you present yourself to the performer. Don't get me wrong. I was sweating bullets. Okay. I was very, very nervous. Okay. These are guys that could easily hurl me out the Cracker Barrel window if I said word one wrong. Okay. But that just that minute and a half of where I was so nervous talking to these guys was completely faded away when they started asking me about myself. And sure, they even offered autographs. They even offered to to sign something. And Mike and I said, no, we don't. We didn't want to, just because we wanted all of them to feel that they're on their time off. They're grabbing a meal before their next show. We just wanted them to feel as at ease as possible. And at the same time, who knows? We'd just exchange email addresses or something, and hey, we'd love to see you again. And that's what happened. I ended up exchanging email addresses with Vader. Only emailed him once or twice. Never really I only got maybe one reply. Just asking about when he'd be around the area next time. And that's okay. But it was that encounter and those conversations that again made me see professional wrestling in a completely different light. Seeing how this guy who could destroy anybody at any given time are just normal people like you and me that just love to talk about life and talk stories and learn from stories and learn from other people's experiences and give experience to others. It's people and it's occasions like that and encounters like that that'll change the way you look at anything, whether it be you bump into a sports athlete, a celebrity of any kind, and you just have one-on-one conversations, not involving anything about their work or involving anything about pop culture or what's on a Facebook feed or what's in the news. It's just talking about each other. And that's sort of what I try to embrace when it comes to professional wrestling, especially when we're coming up to WrestleMania. WrestleMania is supposed to be that one show out of the year where you can bring all of your friends who are not pro wrestling fans and bring them into the fold. Okay? Bring them into this weird landscape of men in shiny underwear, all oiled up and clutching each other for the sake of solving melodramatic conflict. This is the one time out of the year where you can tell them, look at how stupid this stuff is, and just have fun doing it. Or explain to them why it's so much fun and so stupid at the same time. But I just thought I'd share that story with you guys. Because after seeing that he had heart surgery and that it was very arduous, but though it was successful, thank God. Yeah, kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. I know that some of our former podcast hosts, like Hunter Golden, all of them, they sing high praises of Vader as a performer, and by God, he's one of the best you'll ever see, one of the greatest big men ever. That's not what I think of when I think of Vader. There are two things I think of when I think of Vader. It's number one, I got as a gift from him in the mail a keychain. It was a metallic, heavy as hell keychain of him. It's a little Vader keychain with his arms folded and everything. I held on to that keychain. God, that was my keychain for, I think it fell apart 17 years later. Yeah, it had been my keychain, but then the feet kind of eroded away and feet became stubs, and then the chain popped off his head. But that was my keychain. That was a gift that I got from him. The second thing that I'll never forget, apart from, and this goes alongside the Cracker Barrel meeting with him. So we finished the meal. We finished the meal there at Cracker Barrel, and all of us, us, Vader, Jacobs, Copeland, Tenta, we're all finishing up our bills and everything, cleaned up and walking out. Mike bolts out the restaurant. He just bolts out the restaurant and gets over to his truck. And in his truck, he's got the CD of the WWE theme songs. He's got the soundtrack. And he pops it into his truck. And I see him and I'm kind of talking with Jacobs as we're walking out. And apparently Vader's behind us. As soon as we emerge from the building, out comes Vader, and suddenly Mike cranks up the radio playing Vader's theme song. Just cranks it up, and then Vader just went into mode. Oh, he just went into complete kayfabe mode. Oh, it was fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. I know Mike, we didn't have cameras with us or anything like that. We didn't have camera phones or anything like that back then. It was just awesome. Just seeing, and then he turned off the radio and shook everyone's hand. Oh God, it was so much fun. So much fun. I'll never forget him emerging from. Imagine Vader emerging from Cracker Barrel as if it were the gorilla position. No, I bet that's what he's going to be doing when he emerges from the hospital, though. So, I wish Mr. White a speedy recovery. Get well soon, big guy. And what I would give to share a plate of biscuits with you again. Only this time, please leave me at least 2 or 3. I don't want to be spooning gravy into my mouth the entire time. Okay, I got to have something to eat, please. So I thought I'd share that story with y'all. We had to have a break from all of the wacky news stuff that's been going on, So thought we'd take a break from serious opinion stuff. Okay, but now it's time for the fun stuff. All right, it's time for probably the reason that this whole show, this whole Wrestleview Weekly was created. It's also one of the main reasons you all are here. It's time for tonight's dream match. All right. The dream match. This is Shinsuke Nakamura defending the IWGP Intercontinental title versus AJ Styles, who is a member of the Bullet Club. Bullet Club, I don't get it. It's dying a swift death right now. The popularity of it has waned completely. But, so, that's what we're watching. And this is the supposed, I guess this is the one match that everyone thinks of when they think of Nakamura and Styles and why it's going to be a dream match when it happens at WrestleMania. But the big thing is that WWE can't really say anything because they don't have the rights to this. They don't really have footage of their matches. All they just mention is Japan. Or maybe they just never mention it at all, and all they just keep saying is that Nakamura is the best and AJ thinks he's the best, and they're just fighting to see who's the best and the best and the... Fucking respect. I fucking hate respect, honor, and respect matches. I can't stand them. But we're going to watch a match that they had over 2 years ago. Over Wrestle Kingdom 10. But what's funny about this match is that, again, it only got from Dark Overlord Dave Meltzer 4 3/4 stars. How? I don't know. I guess we'll find out together. I don't exactly know what I'm supposed to look for when it comes to what Meltzer likes. But, yeah. We'll go ahead and see what Dark Overlord Meltzer was not thinking about or was thinking about, and apparently what everyone is drooling about, and what everyone wishes was going to be happening, probably won't be happening. AJ is hurt. You're not going to see this at WrestleMania. However, we're going to watch it right now. Shinsuke Nakamura defending the IWGP Intercontinental title versus AJ Styles. Wrestle Kingdom 10. 4 3/4 star matches. Meltzer, you dum-dum. Why didn't you give it 5? Let's find out together. Here we go. I'm afraid I'm gonna be used to how the match is constructed. Masturbatory mat work, shots back and forth, and occasional outside of the ring barricade spot, and then more who's the tougher man forearms to the face, and then you go from there. I'm afraid that's what I'm going to get used to seeing with all of these New Japan matches. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, that's kind of why I like a lot of the WWE's matches, especially when you look at Lesnar matches compared to Cena matches, compared to Braun Strowman matches, compared to AJ Styles matches. Everyone has their different pacing of match in the WWE. It's not the same formula. And I've got a feeling I've been watching the same formula in a lot of these New Japan matches. So we'll see what happens. But I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this same kind of match at WrestleMania, spot for spot. Seriously, it would just be slowed down a little bit. Maybe a lot more pinfall attempts, but no, that was a fun match. That was pretty fun. Yeah, there's nothing I would keep out of that match that I can't see the WWE giving the okay or the no-go for. They all looked real good. We haven't seen, I don't believe we've seen in the WWE Nakamura doing his Kinshasa or Bumaye. We haven't seen him do that to the back of the head. Nor do I think we've seen it or do it out of nowhere like that to the back of the head or twice in succession. There are a lot of things we have not seen from him that he's done in New Japan that he has not done in the WWE. Sith saying probably a whole lot crisper and polished. Probably. But the other thing too with this match that we watched was I'm just not a fan of New Japan's ref. Not a fan at all. His mannerisms are piss poor. Why he's going touchdown. In fact, I want to see if I can find that. It was when we had the counter. I think it's when we had the counter from all that AJ bringing out the Styles Clash. Yeah, there it is. What is that shit? Why are you signaling touchdown? What is this shit? Don't. And it looks like he's coaching him into what? Yep, that's where he is. That's where you pinfall it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, no. What is that crap? I don't care if that's red shoes being red shoes. I don't care. It takes away from the match. You're not the focal point of this match. Your focal point of this match is really just counting the 1, 2, 3 and showing astonishment when he doesn't get the 3. Or trying to tell him it's that close to getting the 3. Or showing that, are you going? Are you going? You say go. Are you tapping? Are you tapping? Him. It's like he's coaching him. I don't like it. It's not what it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's something that's something I will not get used to. Okay, I don't care who he is. Okay, if you call him Red Shoes, if he's like the Mike Chioda of New Japan, problem is Chioda's better at being Chioda. I don't know what the hell this guy's doing, but oh well, that's me. It's New Japan shit that I gotta try to get used to. I guess I want to try them. I'd love to watch some stuff that's not New Japan, but damn it, that's what I'm getting up to. I want to. Maybe I'll just try to find some other federations or something like watch some old All Japan or some old Noah. Maybe find some other indie stuff. I know ROH has got some throwback matches that they put for free on YouTube, so I know that. And I think the Kenta Kobashi Samoa Joe match is available. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's available. But anyway, yep, that's going to do it for Wrestleview Weekly. Thanks so much for showing up, guys. Thanks again for Happy Cakes making follower number 39. Need to get up to 100 to check out Wrestle Kingdom 12. We are a week and a half away from the WrestleMania times. Oh boy. Just to remind you, Adam Martin and myself, we will be covering NXT TakeOver New Orleans post the show, Saturday night after the TakeOver show. We will be live reviewing it, giving our hot takes on it, And then also, we will be live after WrestleMania. Holy crap. It's going to be a long-ass show, too. But we're going to be covering both post-shows of the NXT TakeOver and WrestleMania shows. Come check them out. We will be on YouTube and the Faces books. But until then, I will see you all next week for Wrestleview Weekly. Who knows what the match of the week will be, but we'll see. Yeah. So it's probably that WrestleMania weekend. I'm going to try not to have it to where I did last year, where I did nearly, I think it was 10 or 11 hours of viewing the same day. I watched the Hall of Fame ceremony, the NXT TakeOver show, WrestleMania pre and entire show on the same day. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but that's going to do it. I'll catch y'all next week. 8 o'clock Wednesday night, Wrestleview Weekly. I'm Doug Lackey.